So if you'll remember a bit ago, whenever I made that video on getting $10 back from the eShop closing down, then you'll also remember that I bought Hallow Knight with that money, among other things. But I kind of realized outside of that brief mention, I never really talked about the game at all. Which is a shame because I really enjoyed my time playing through it. Enough to try and 100% it. Until of course the Godmaster Gauntlet came along and ruined that, but we'll get to that. I'm not entirely sure how to structure this video since the game itself isn't very linear, but I can still start in the same place that the game does. Our teeny little protagonist seems to be heading towards a small town in the distance. And then we play. One of the first things you'll notice if you play the game is there isn't very much direct instructions on what to do or even how to do it. You're left to figure out mostly everything out on your own, which can make finding certain things frustrating, but it also makes the experience a little more personable. The environmental storytelling is the only thing really guiding you, and it's honestly phenomenal how well the environment is. The art style really shines through in a lot of places, and it definitely helps you keep coming back for more. I've never really played Metroidvanias, which is what this game is, but I'm pretty sure the directionless world is a common theme amongst them. It made for a unique experience for me for sure, because you can find really cool items completely by accident. In fact, that's how I found most things in this world, just completely by accident. I think I've come to love that form of gameplay, just discovering the world you're put in slowly by locations and characters strewn about, and then coming to your own conclusions about where to go or even the nature of the game. If you haven't played this game yet and are thinking about doing so, now is when I'm going to urge you to stop watching this video and go play the game. Upon reflecting and thinking back about my experience, a lot of what made this game special was the exploring and finding out every little thing the world has to offer. And while I won't have any in-game spoilers, there still will be a lot of spoilers to a lot of the things that I think make this game special. So if you are considering playing this, I urge you to stop watching this video and go play it right now for yourself. This video will still be here for you when you get back. With that out of the way, I'm going to continue. One of the first characters you meet is Elderbug. And when I first encountered Elderbug, I walked right past him to see what was further ahead. But curiosity got the better of me, and I went back to interact with the bug. And to my surprise, Elderbug actually mentioned how I walked right past him. I think it was at that moment I knew this game was going to be good. From there, you're meant to fall down this well and explore wherever your heart desires. The mechanics of this game are tight and responsive, perfect for a game of its nature, with abilities and such being added to your arsenal the more you explore. One of my absolute favorite moves that you have access to right from the start is the downward slash, which not only damages enemies without being in their direct attacking range, but also propels you upward a little bit, which can be done to cheese a lot of the early obstacles meant to keep you in the tutorial section, so to speak. It's also just generally a great option for evading battle altogether. Not to say that there aren't other great things you can get later on, just that it's an amazing ability and I wish more games had it. You'll meet a cast of characters and you're delving into this forgotten world. Most of them met in the tutorial area, as I called it earlier, known in-game as the Forgotten Crossroads. The first of which I found was Cristopher, a humming little cartographer who will sell you maps of each of the game's areas, once you find them in said area. It's a cool way to naturally expand the map while having an in-game reason for it. And while we're on the subject, the game's map is huge. It just keeps going down and down and down and down and down and down. It kept surprising me the more areas I found. And there's probably something to be said about how all except 2 areas are found below where you first start the game, but I digress. The more I think about it actually, the more I realize how central the theme of exploring is to this game. Really all the game is a glorified splunking adventure. Through your travels in Hallow Nest, the name of the map from the game, the bugs you'll find, and the implied history of each area, and the areas that all have their own unique characteristics really make this game what it is. For example, Deep Nest, the bottom leftmost area on the map, genuinely unsettled me the first time I got there. In hindsight, I'm left astounded at how well just making unnerving enemies in a smaller field of vision amped up the sense of looming dread and loneliness that while still present in every other area, was just so pinpointed to exacerbate the feeling. I hated going through that area because it unnerved me that much. As for characters, the nailsmith, who upgrades your weapon's power, I didn't find him until I was a bit of a ways into the game, and was able to upgrade my nail twice in the same setting. But when you do finish getting all the nail upgrades, he requests you to strike him down, for he feels that his life is complete now that he's crafted the perfect weapon. I didn't really know if I had a choice, so I left the room instead of hitting him, and immediately came back to find that he was just gone. I had no idea where he went, and I searched around the area for a bit, but eventually just left to continue with the game. And a while later, like 2 or 3 actual hours of game later, I came back to one of the nailmaster's house, only to find the nailsmith there, just chilling. He thanked me for not killing him because he found a new purpose. It's small things like this that you just will entirely stumble upon that make this game so endearing. However, it's also one of the game's biggest flaws. The vast openness of the world and lack of any real direction make it very easy to miss things, even pivotal things to the main quest. Granted, said pivotal things are usually telegraphed in some form or another, but for pretty much everything else, you're on your own. I missed an entire section of the map on my first playthrough as it was hidden behind a breakable wall. Which, side note, I don't think the problem of missing things would be so bad if so many things weren't hidden behind fake walls, because coming back to 100% it, I found that most of the things I missed were behind said fake walls. But the Hive was a really cool area that I completely missed and wouldn't have found if I didn't absolutely love this game. As well as the Grim Troop DLC, which again I had come back to after beating the game since it was hidden behind a fake wall. But even still, the fact that I went to look up all the things I missed so I could experience them myself is a testament to this game's charm. The only reason I didn't go to the full 100% was because of a skill issue. Legit. The Godmaster's Trials, which is an optional area where you can fight all the bosses in the game one after the other with no breaks between, was too big of a challenge for even the easy mode, so I gave up. That's another thing about this game that's not necessarily bad. It's very difficult. I wouldn't recommend this being a game to play if you're new to video gaming. It wasn't really a problem for me since I grew up with video games, but it's still a very challenging game nonetheless. Something I can unfortunately attest to. No! There's just so much more to this game that I could talk about. I didn't even get to the charm system, but for the sake of this video not being like an hour long, I've got to end it somewhere. All in all, this game is the perfect example of the phrase, it's about the journey, not the destination. So much about this game is about discovering things for yourself. And because of the non-linear nature of the game, everyone's experience is a little different. Even if I didn't get to experience everything the game has to offer because it was so big, plenty of other people still got to experience what I couldn't just by running into it. I love this game, and it's a great pocket experience. I spent about 40 hours playing this game doing literally everything except the Godmasters. So for $7.50, I'd say it's pretty well worth its money. If I had to rate this game, I'd put it at a respectable 8 out of 10 because of the art, exploratory charm, and environmental storytelling. But the directionless nature of it sort of left something to be desired with me that had to be filled with a lot of internet searching. I'd love to go deeper into this game, and maybe I will in a future video, because the sequel to Hollow Knight is actually in development. But for now, I'll just leave you with one parting word. Bye!